Well, hello there, Omar. How you doing, bud?
What is up? What is up? We got Johnny Ketchup from the Quince on the Metal Mixtape. How's it going, my friend?
It's very wonderful. It's been a hot day here today. It's finally cooling down. It's great to talk to you, Omar.
Hey, man, how's has the smoke reached up there at all, or how are the skies looking?
Well, I'm not seeing a lot of smoke out here. Well, as the sun goes down, we've got these great sunsets going on, and the sky turns orange from the smoke. But other than that, everything is okay.
Good. That's great to hear, man. I'm happy everybody's doing all right down there. I know right now the fires are causing havoc, but thank God for music to pull us out of it, and hopefully we can keep playing it. But you know what, Johnny? One thing I love doing about these interviews, especially with you, is I literally have no idea about your past. I have no idea how you got into music. We've never met each other, and I want to get to know you, my friend.
So what you're saying is I could completely make this up, and you wouldn't know the difference.
Bro, you could tell me that this whole punk thing is just a phase, and you actually play poker on the weekends to feed your family.
But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and be as honest as I can, because everybody's life is crazy. Everybody's walked a different road, and the road I've walked has gotten me here today, and I want to share that with you.
Yeah, no, I dig it, brother. But you know what? I know one thing with, like, I don't want to stereotype, but with, like, the punk scene and the rock scene, especially in the 70s and 80s, I think one of the biggest influences that I always hear on my show is the rebelliousness, because right now it seems like, you can pretty much jump into any avenue of music, and it's all right. But back in the day, you played anything with distortion, or when, like, Kiss came out, it was just massive movement, man. Tell me about how you got into the music you're into, and what was that fire that lit you, that pushed you into this super long career you've had of just awesomeness.
Well, now, this is interesting. This is a great question. Now, I grew up in a musical family. My father played with Waylon Jennings.
Oh.
And that's pretty cool stuff. And so I come from that. I've always wanted to be involved in music. I was the black sheep of the family. I was the one that didn't learn how to play guitar. I was the one that didn't have a side band with Dad. And I just got into music. I started listening to it. I got my first Judas Priest record. I got my first Alice Cooper record. I got my first Ramones record. And I really started feeling what's going on. And, as high school came along, I was the guy that everybody turned to. Hey, where's the party this weekend? And I would bring the vinyl, and I'd play the records for everybody. And I just got into that groove, and I started feeling this sense of work and this excitement from the music. And then one day, when I got my very first house that I rented with friends, and this music group from Spokane, Washington, moved to Portland, and they didn't have anywhere to practice, so I let them move into my basement. They were called Tier Zero. They turned into being one of the heaviest punk bands in Portland, 90 proof. But just that got me rolling with it, and I just had to get involved in this somehow. To be honest with you, I didn't start out in punk rock. I started out as the bass player for Talisman, a metal group. They were trying to teach me how to play bass. They went on to do pretty well. But it all started right there, Omar. It all started right there.
That's amazing. And you know what? I totally dig it, because I think I saw you post a picture of yourself in high school with an Iron Maiden shirt.
Yeah.
So, you know what I want to hear about? Tell me a little bit about how the music scene was back in the day, because we didn't have these Facebook to create events. We didn't have all these Spotifys and videos. I always hear stories that you didn't know what the band looked like until you got there. Now you know their cousin, and you know how to cook their grandma's spaghetti by the time you see them live, dude. Tell me the grind back in the day of, like, doing shows and just the whole promotion, because it was a whole different monster then.
It was a whole different monster. I grew up in Portland, and here's something that was exciting. Back in the 80s, they had a thing that was called cruising, and everybody with their car would cruise up and down 82nd Avenue. The hot spot to hang out was 82nd and Powell. Now it's got a supermarket and all that there. But it used to just be a big open field, and everybody would park there, and you'd bring your handbills, and you'd hand them out, or you'd hand them out, and we're playing this party. Who are you? I don't know who you are. You've got a band? Really? Let's go check it out. The bands were all playing at keg parties at somebody's backyard, or even at the golf course in the middle of the night, sneaking out there with a generator. You never knew what was going to go on, but it was all word of mouth, hand to hand. And you'd run into another group of kids that go, "Hey, have you seen my friend's band? Never heard of them. Come check it out." And then we'd all get to know each other. And what happened from that? 5 more bands would spring up.
Oh yeah, I think also back in the day it was just like it was really genuine too, because back I'm old to the point where I remember where I still had to record movies, rent VCRs and all that, but like you used to have to scavenge for a record or an album and all that, and I feel like music back in the day was so inventive. There's so much room for invention.
There was a lot of room for invention, and especially when we're talking about local and underground stuff, you really did have to search for that. And there were records we had huge record stores. Record stores were a big thing back then. But to get that underground stuff, if you were just a local band that put out a record, you had to go around and hand that out. And we had another great thing we used to do back then was make cassette tapes. And you would contact other bands. You would send your cassette tape to whoever it might be, and then they'd send you theirs. And it was just swapping. A lot of the stuff I heard in the old days was straight up on cassette. Dead Kennedys even. First time I heard that was on a cassette that they sent a friend of mine and said, "Hey, check us out."
This is Raging Croft. I actually have a decent question for you.
All right.
I've been kind of wondering this myself as a musician that's never actually been on stage. I don't even know if I can call myself a musician yet, but what is the craziest thing that you've been hit with on stage?
Well, now ask that another way. Help me understand this question.
What is the weirdest thing that you've been hit by on the stage, like as you're performing, like a beer or
somebody's foot from crowd surfing? Tell me a crazy incident you've had on stage. I think it was asking.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't so much. Something being. It's the people, man. It's the people throwing themselves on the stage. I'm not Alice Cooper. I haven't had a chicken thrown on my stage, and I'm not Ozzy Osbourne. I haven't had a bat thrown on my stage. But just lunatics jumping on the stage. I welcome it. I welcome it. Have it come on. And honestly, people as crazy as they get, they do try to have some sense of calm, and they don't want to go to jail, so they're not going to come and throw crazy stuff. I mean, I've had a mannequin head tossed up on stage, but that's really about it. I have a keg in the back, a keg that had some people might not know this. On the side of a keg, it has a cork in it.
Yeah.
You know what that cork is called?
No.
It's called a bung. And do you know what the hole it's called it goes in? It's called a bung hole. That's where that term comes from. But we got a keg out back here, and we have a stage. At my place here, we call it Rancho Quitzo, and we do live shows here, free live shows once a month, and we bring bands in from all over the country to do this. But this keg got so hot back there that the bung popped out and flew across the yard and smashed right through the middle of the stage and bounced off the back wall. That was pretty exciting. The beer's flowing everywhere out the side of it. Woohoo!
Party!
Hey, talking about a little bit about music, do you ever go online and listen in these debates that I think what is it, Johnny Rotten I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Johnny from the Ramones. They were having an argument.
Yeah, it was Marky Ramone and Johnny Rotten arguing. God bless them both. God bless them both. You know, John Lydon, he's real arrogant and real full of himself, and every one of the Ramones are pretty humble. And God bless all those the ones that are still alive, and even more so the ones that have passed on. But I think it's interesting. You know, a lot of folks say the punk rock came out in 1976, and the truth is the Ramones came out in 1973. So, you know, that argument with those two going back and forth, I found it quite entertaining. Lydon was getting so upset.
Yeah. I mean, Johnny was interrupting Henry Rollins. He was interrupting everybody. But you know what I loved about what the Ramones said is that when Johnny Rotten was talking, you know, he was like being aggressive, and it was like, we were talking about change, we were talking about, you know, politics, and the Ramone guy, you know, he was saying, we wanted kids to have fun and love themselves. That's why we wrote this music, and I was like, you hit it right on the spot.
Right? You know, here's what I tell people about music and about writing music. Put all your politics and all your crap aside. You have one job when you get on that stage, and that's to make the kids dance. It doesn't matter what kind of dancing they're doing, whether they're bebopping, swing dancing, or slam dancing, whether they're moshing, pogoing, or rolling around on the floor. It doesn't matter. Those kids came to dance. They didn't come to vote for who you want to vote for. They didn't come to promote your agenda. They came to smile and have a good time. Give it to them. And when you get on that stage, they paid for a show. Give them a show.
Did you ever have a chance to see the Ramones in their fullness back in the day?
I saw the Ramones twice. I saw the Ramones do a great tour with Debbie Harry and the Talking Heads.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really cool. I got into the show a little bit late. I missed the first half of the Ramones set. That's all right. I saw them another time at the Roseland Theater in Portland, Oregon, with Social Distortion, and it was great. And when, you know, it was one of their later tours, it was really aggressive. And if you've ever seen the Ramones live, it's nothing like listening to them on an album. They're at least double or triple speed live. So Ramones doesn't feel mosh pit music, but once you see them live, it's straight up mosh pit. I got thrown out of the show. They thought I was in a fight with somebody. I did get a black eye. I got thrown out of the show. I went outside, and there's a scalper out there selling tickets. I bought another ticket and came right back in the front door.
That's awesome. Before I get to the next question, tell me one thing, the special that you noticed about Joey there on stage.
It's about Joey Ramone?
Yeah.
You know,
because he was. I watched his interviews, and he really was a real nice, quiet, like, good person.
I think that the gem that Joey comes out when he hits that stage. He's such a calm. He loves kittens, and he likes spaghetti, and he just loves just being a soft, sweet guy. But once he hits that stage and he puts that leg out front and leans that microphone stand back, he is the actor Joey Ramone, and he's going to give it to you full bore.
I love that so much. So for my next question I want to ask is, you know, you've been doing music 30 years, rocking out the scenes and everything. What do you think is the biggest difference you noticed in the music scene from back in the day to now, as far as like maybe like the inspirations and like why people play and like maybe certain trends or the way people act? What is the big? Tell me the negatives and the positives in your opinion.
I'm going to start with the positives. The positives is that we still have people interested in finding new avenues with music, being creative, trying new things, and taking. It's always been a truth that the circle of music comes back. You can play, you can come up with a new idea, but you'll find old ideas within it. And that still plays true today as it did back when I was a youngster, that you can always integrate old ideas in the new ideas. And I find that happening a lot. There's a lot of music out right now. Now, not whether I'm into it or not, there's a lot of, like the new metal, there's a lot of that as integrating a sing-songy aspect with a guttural scream aspect and tying those together. And that's whether that's my forte or not, which I don't do that kind of thing. But we find these genres being mixed together, and people have gone through the labor of seeing the different ways music has changed over the years, and the different things we add and subtract. We try different things. Remember when Anthrax did "I'm the Man" or Aerosmith did "Walk This Way" with Run DMC?
Yeah.
How it was experimental, and these kind of things worked a little bit, and they got tweaked and twerked into different ideas, and they grow. And I love that. And kids, everybody out there listening, don't let anybody tell you you can't try something, but I want you to use your heads. Don't beat a dead horse into the ground. Try new things out, but if they're not working for you, they're not going to work for anybody else, because your heart's not in it. Just dump it. Move on to the next song. Create something that you love. Don't try to force something. Okay, let's move on to the negatives. You ready?
I'm ready, brother.
The negatives are that there is more divide right now in the music scene and more internal fighting than I have ever seen.
Oh my God! Yes.
That is very true.
It's rampant. Back in the days, everybody just wanted to hang out and have fun. It wasn't a rivalry. It wasn't when they had Battle of the Bands back then, it was just a bunch of bands got together and they played to wherever it was, and there weren't trophies and awards and certificates. It was like, yay, we won, we're buying the beer, Mm-hmm. Today it's a popularity contest. I do understand that the entertainment industry is a popularity contest, but it's at a whole new level where people are being mean to each other, they're being vicious towards each other, and we find, here, let's step back to the old days. To win a Battle of the Bands or to win a thing to go to be on a festival, you had to have people come to see you, and at that event, you'd have to have a promoter see what's going on and see your true fans and how they react, and that person had to see you live, what you look like, how you act, and then they would go, hey, you guys might be good to come along to this and play this event. But today with the internet, we find that you can simply, you can go on your own Reverb Nation account, and you can raise your numbers by playing your own song for 30 seconds, and playing again for 30 seconds, then playing again for 30 seconds, then playing again for 30 seconds. I find there's a lot of this kind of nonsense going on, and I find that there's a lot of festivals these days are asking for fan votes to get in. I would like to see fan votes to be actual fans that like the band, not like a kid in the band or it's their mom or the kid of the band, that actually have listened to the band, like their music, have seen their shows, and go, hey, I'm serious. These guys need to be involved in this. Not just selling, hey, if you'll vote for me on this, I'll vote for you on that. Hey, if you like mine, I'll like yours. Honestly, there's a lot of great musicians out there, and there's a lot of folks that contact me every day, like my page, like my band. To be honest, I listen to each and every band, and I like the bands that I like.
You know what? To jump in real quick, just to add on it. No, I completely agree, man, on the aspect that when my show started getting some traction, I had a ton of bands emailing me asking how much it costs for them to play a song. And I was so dumbfounded. I was just like, cost? Are you serious? And then in my head, I would see all these other small radio shows or small radio stations try to be like, oh, this is the band of the month, but they had to go through all these hoops to become a band of the month instead of simply just giving a band exposure for the love of the music, And there's times where like bands will tell me, and they're like, really, you're not going to charge me? Like you've been published 4 times and you've been doing all this. And I'm just like, no. And I almost want to get to the point and be like, who the hell is charging you?
Yeah, exactly. And who is it and why?
And why?
Well, it's a popularity contest, bro. It really is.
And also, second, with the whole Battle of the Bands crap, dude, it's the biggest load of crap I've ever seen right now, dude. It is such a cash grab. It's insane, dude. And here's the thing is that Battle of the Bands aren't really that fair anymore.
No.
Because here's what happened. I remember I did a Battle of the Bands, and we won one locally, right? And we got to go play in regionals in Sacramento. We had to play the hometown band in Sacramento instead of getting all the bands and putting them in a random place that they have no favoritism from their local town. How are you going to expect a bunch of 19-year-olds to drive 4 hours to go play against 4 30-year-olds that have $30,000 worth of equipment and invited their whole town when you're trying to invite people 4 hours away to come to your show? And here's the thing. Here's the thing. We sold 9 tickets, right? Which meant we were the opener of 12 bands. They sold 200, and they had people driving a mile or 2 miles away. How are we supposed to compete with that? How the hell are you supposed to tell 19-year-olds that they can make their dreams come true when you're putting them in a situation to drown?
Well, and that was probably the point of the whole thing. They knew what they were doing. They were setting it up so that made themselves look good. And I wasn't there, I don't know, but I find this to be true often.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. Continue, man. You had me fired up for a second.
Oh, I don't even know where the heck we were.
We were talking about the benefits and the negatives of the scene compared to back in the 80s and 90s to now.
Yeah. So for me, we won't play Battle of the Bands type of things. We will not do pay to play. I just think do your best. Do your best. Get your stuff out there. Get heard. Hey, if you don't mind, I'm going to do a plug here real quick.
Yep.
Just from word of mouth, we're in the June issue of Power Play Magazine, United Kingdom. Our name is listed on the cover. Halloween is on the cover with picture and what have you.
Okay.
And then they gave us a full-page interview. I mean, a full page. This is crazy with a photograph. And then this is great stuff. Our record review, we got what they called a rare 10 out of 10 in the record review. And there's probably 50 or more bands that they reviewed here. And, I think we're just blessed. Look, Omar, I don't know how to even feel about this. They gave Black Sabbath an 8 out of 10, and you gave the Quick a 10 out of 10.
Jeez,
So,
that's insane.
that really makes me feel wild. So networking, man, it's networking, and you got to be positive. Don't try to sell your agenda and of course there's people that get into that, but I think that the genre, people are just looking to get out and have fun. They don't want to have to get there and deal with your politics and your crap. And save that for your own. Hey, if you want to have a show that's specifically for that, that's great. That's great.
Hey,
but
John,
do
you think if just a hypothetical, do you think if bands from the 80s and 90s had social media the way we do now, you think there would be more conflict?
I don't think we'd have music left today.
I agree.
I don't think any of this would exist, to be honest with you. And here's something. This is funny. I constantly think of the song "Video Killed the Radio Star," which is such a silly song, but it was so true. And that's what's happening now: is media is killing the rock star. Social media is killing the rock. It's killing the music industry. It's being. You can't just make some sounds and have people feel good. It has to have all this crap that goes along with it. And then you can't, look, can't some guys or gals or whatever just get together and make some music without people doing background checks on them and researching them and picking up You know what? One time when little Johnny was 5, he stepped in some concrete and got it on his shoes. And he's a little son of a gun for doing that. We should all get rid of him.
Dude, you hit it right on the spot with the whole background check on bands and all that for music. You got us cracking up. You're so right, man.
Now I'm going to touch on something else that might hurt a few people's feelings.
Hey, we're FM radio. As long as you don't cuss or anything derogatory, be real, my friend.
No, I won't do that. I say Video Killed the Radio Star. Right now, something else that is killing original music is tribute bands. Sorry, guys, that's just how I feel. I know y'all are out there having a good time playing music, and that's awesome. And I realize that a lot of the classics and the legends are gone, and you can't see them anymore. But, guys, go out there and see them while you can. Judas Priest is still around. The Scorpions are still around. Iron Maiden is still around. GBH is still around, okay? DRI is still around, okay? The Exploited is still around. The Casualties are still around. Go check these bands out. It might cost you a little more to go see them, but you're going to actually see them. God bless these tribute guys, but I think that there's a lot of booking going on, and it's hard for local bands to get those slots. And I find it interesting. I've seen some of these bands, they were great. They really were. But I've also seen the originals, and they were much better. But, gosh, I don't even know where I was going with that at this point. Just, wow.
No, I dig it, brother, honestly. It's definitely a different monster, and that's why I like doing these interviews, because, you know, I like to really listen and just, you know, grow, because it's insane, you know, how many things have happened since music started, you know, and especially now with the whole digital era, and the thing is, you can bands can get away with so much editing, you know. I know a lot of mainstream popular bands that will confess to not using actual drums anymore, you know.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane, you know. And I'm just like the whole point of working your butt off and laying down a track is that you feel extremely proud of yourself that you did it.
Yeah. I think, what a great point. Let's talk about drummers for a second. Our drummer, Brandon Lay, when we went to the studio, it was suggested that he had drum tracks added for double bass, and that he had, drum machine added just to clean it up and laying double tracks. And he was like, no. I want it to be me. I want it to be me on there. And I want to do the work. And I don't care how long it takes to make this happen. And, of course, we all agreed on that. Let's make it happen. Let's do it for real. There's just so much electronica going out that you can dub. Granted, there's layers on my vocals. Granted, there's layers on the guitar. Granted, there's layers on the drums. But it's us doing it. It's not some digitally redone. I actually stood in front of the microphone 50 times to do that, okay? The guy actually played the guitar 10 times to make it sound that way. He didn't have some program where they typed it in, you know, to make it sound that way. We did drums straight. You know, with the computers now, you can just click on, when you're in the studio, you can just click on what type of drum kit do I want it to sound like. We said no. We want it straight from the tip.
I love it, brother. I love it. So Mr. Johnny, you know, in the last couple of years, we've been through all this chaos and everything. How'd you manage? I mean, we're still in it. Actually, it's even worse. But how do you manage to stay sane and write music and still be inspired with everything going around to push the quits and to keep booking shows and to keep promoting? Where do you find that fire still with so much crap going on around us?
Use the crap. Use the crap as the motivation. I think that's the ultimate answer. Look around you at all the crap going on and use it. Our hit single is called Lockdown, okay, for a reason. You know? Use it. Use it.
You know what? I know during everybody being locked down, I think a lot of people, they learned a lot about themselves and a lot about, mental health and a lot about, you know, because a lot of people really rely on, being out there with people, you know, interacting with people, you know. We're not supposed to be locked up. So tell me a little bit, even booking shows nowadays for the quits, like what's the mindset knowing that, it can get canceled at any second?
That's true. And here's the thing: is we've got a couple shows booked right now, and one of them in Seattle isn't looking too good, just due to low ticket sales. It's not because of the band. It's not because of the openers. It's just that people are still afraid to go out. You know, it's just a weird world. It's just a weird world right now. To be honest, you talk about mental health, what have you. I took some time to do some personal reflecting, and so I went ahead and started seeing a therapist, just somebody outside of my entire circle, just someone I can talk to and work my way through some things. And I think that's a good thing when things are locked down. They're not locked down like they were earlier, but hey, take advantage of that time to go into yourself. But you've got to do something with that. Don't sit there by yourself and internalize that and go crazy, you know. 100%. Find someone Yeah, find someone you can share that with and get it out. What a great opportunity. People need to look at the opportunity in the music industry that the lockdown and the pandemic has supplied us. It's given us all time to go in the studio instead of go on tour. It's given us time to reflect on where our music wants to go. You know, and as far as booking, we don't book a lot of shows anyways. I have a core value when it comes to booking shows. Oversaturation of an area is your worst enemy. When people see your name playing at some place every week, or even the same city every week, oh, it's just them again. I say go on stage and give them a hell of a show, and wait 3 or 4 months. Have them going, shit, darn, I want to see those guys. Darn.
One's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll count that as the one, and we'll leave it be. But I think let people wait. Let them wait. Write some new songs. Get some new attitudes for the stage. Make them wait. That's the best idea. Look at any of your big bands. I mean, Slayer isn't playing in Medford every week.
Yeah, you're right.
Imagine if Slayer was playing Medford every week. How many times would you see Slayer before you went, yeah, I know, but it's Slayer again?
Yeah. No, I dig it. And also, you know, especially with internet killing the video star now, it's almost become saturated. Like when people do like live streaming of their shows and all that, it's just it just invites people to not go.
I agree.
You know what I did in my last show is that I asked the promoter not to stream us live, and he's like, why not? And I was like, I want people to be hungry for us. I want people to hear it word of mouth. I don't want some stream that's going to capture half the quality and half the emotion.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to get half the product.
Yep. You know, you're playing live at a venue because you want people there live at the venue to hang out with you, to get to know you, right? You want to shake their hand, and you want to look them straight in the eye, and then look you straight in the eye back when you're being all emotional in a song, whether it's aggressive emotional or soft emotional. That's what you want. We've only live streamed one song in our entire one show in our entire career, and that was last year in Denver, Colorado. And that's just because that venue does that. And hey, we were out of town anyways, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
So it's not something I look forward to. And I agree. It invites people to not go. And I got to tell you, I do not. Hey, I like to have $1 as much as the next guy does, but I'm not in this for money. I'm not a fool. I'm not a fool. I'm not going to get rich off of this today. I may someday, but not today. And I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to the audience. Yeah, that's what. I don't think it's fair to the audience for people to be selling tickets to watch a live concert via the internet. You're convincing them to stay at home, not enjoy their lives in person, and not to get the real deal. And to be honest with you, the true motivation there is a middleman trying to make a profit.
It always is.
It always is.
For sure. Well, Johnny, we got about 5 or 10 minutes left. I want to let everybody in Ashland know we're talking to Johnny Ketchup from the Quits, PDX, punk rock legend, man. We've dived into so many topics right now. Hey, you know what's crazy? We barely talked about your band.
Well, you're right.
But you know what? You know what's awesome about this is that we could have a part 2 now.
We can, and I think that's awesome. You know what? Here, let me tell you a few quick things about my band.
Let's hear it.
We're called the Quits. We're out of Sheridan, Oregon, a tiny little town about 30 miles away from the ocean. There's 4 of us. I don't know what more to tell you. We think we play old school punk rock, but other people tell us it's a metal punk rock crossover. I don't know. We are the Quits. I'm going to do a shameless self-promotion at this point. Right here at Rancho Quito. Everybody out there listening, and everybody in Oregon, Washington, wherever you are, here at Rancho Quito. The address, 725 Northwest Evans Street, Sheridan, Oregon, 97378. Listen up. September 4th, right here at Rancho Cuito. The Quits from Sheridan, Oregon. The band Repent from Casper, Wyoming. And the Upchucks from Phoenix, Arizona. Right here at Rancho Cuito. Free concert, free barbecue, free camping. Everyone is invited.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost had me and Chris walking out the door. We're gonna head to your house right now. We're like, you know what? If we start walking now, by the time September 4th hits around, we'll make it.
Yeah. It's just next month, guys. I'd love everyone is invited. Honestly, this is a great thing. We've also got on September 2nd at the Lux. Here, I've got some notes here. The Lux in Seattle, Washington. The Factory Lux, Seattle, Washington. The band Repent, the Quits, and Innocence Torn. Now, look, this is on the 2nd at the Lux in Seattle. Tickets are online only. Go look up the Factory Lux. You can Google them, or you can Facebook them, whatever you need to do. But those tickets, let's get those sold. Let's get the place filled up. I got a message the other day from Blaine Cook, the frontman of The Accused. He said he's going to set that day aside, come out to that show. So come on out and meet all of us. Come out and meet the member of The Accused and have a great time. Everybody, once again, Factory Lux, Seattle, Washington. The band Repent, the Quits, Innocence Torn, September 2nd. That is a Thursday. Who cares? Who cares what day of the week it is?
Hey, my show's on a Thursday. I don't care. It's another metal day to me.
You know it.
Hey, well, Johnny, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. We want to invite you for a part 2 in a couple months, because we have so much to dig into that I think the audience deserves a part 2 with you.
I think you're right. Hey, do you mind if I just follow up with one more thing here?
Yes, let's do it, brother.
You're listening to Johnny Ketchup on the Metal Mixtapes with Omar Rodriguez Torres on KSKQ-FM, 89.5 Ashland, 94.1 Medford, shoving metal deep up your
Thank you so much, brother. It was a great time having you on the show, and expect an email, message from me in the coming days, and we're gonna plan out an interview for December.
All right, I love you guys. Take care.
What's up, my brother?
All right, cheers. Bye.